Greetings, Geechlings, Geechin Prime here, with my review of One Piece Chapter 869, Under Siege. And it was a fun chapter, a lot of action going on this week. But where the chapter starts off is on the cover page, with the Bartolomeo arc for his cover story. What was it? I forget, Luffy Senpai, that's the name of his ship, is making way into a port, and there's a bunch of worried people on the dock, so I expect that to be interesting. One dude was actually on a Denden Mushi, so we'll probably see some Marines in this one. But anyway, going into the actual chapter, we have the Allied forces. They're retreating into Castle Capone, and Montdor, among others, are starting to realize of what Capone has done, the betrayal and the like. Dufeld, surprisingly, notices the mochi balls, earplugs, whatever you want to call them, and actually puts them in his ears, he must have saw one of them do it, I guess. And he also notices the Tamete Bako. Given what ends up happening in this chapter, I assume it's going to play a part in their escape. But how that is going to be fun to find out. Katakuri actually ends up stretching his arms, so his mochi powers, it really should have been obvious, but we didn't really ever see him use those. But he's used his haki and his jelly beans more than he has his mochi powers at this point. But he grabs Brule off of Caesar's back and drags her in, and she'll eventually try to plead her case to her siblings, because it's like, no, I didn't betray anybody. I'm the victim. While she is right, I doubt the family's going to let her get off that easily. But also, Katakuri starts firing off jelly beans. He injures some of the fire tank pirates, or at least one that we see. Smoothie, Oven, and Daifuku capture Nami, Chopper, and Carrot respectively. Which I was like, oh no, we're not getting off this island anytime soon, are we? But the Vinsmokes are given their raid suits in a previous chapter, and they're like, eventually suit up in total Power Ranger style. Go, go, Germa Rangers. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of lost it there for a second, because I was like, am I going to say Vinsmoke or Germa? But anyway, so yeah, now that they're in their raid suits, apparently the suits are impervious to fire, so that's cool, considering there's a lot of fire around them right now. And that's actually something that Perospero admires their science and suits for, because they're immune to fire, and he's like, well, okay, that didn't work, so I'll just trap them in candy again. I doubt that's going to work. They're now aware of what the hell's going on. And let's see. Anyway, so the Vinsmokes will start facing off against the Charlotte siblings, rescuing the Straw Hats. And that's great. It's showing that they're actually working with them, which is going to be necessary given who they're up against right now. Also, something I missed on my first read through, and it's actually something I found out from either Joy Boy or Roger's Base's live reaction of the chapter. Pudding, after Nami and them were saved, Sanji catches her, and Pudding in a small panel, which is probably why I missed it, she's looks a bit jealous, which that could be interesting on how her allegiance, going forward may lie. It's like, well, that she actually helped the Straw Hats to any capacity now. But But yeah, then from there, Dufeld, uh, he finds, as it was mentioned before, he found the Tame de Abaco. Well, now we know what he plans on doing with it. He's going to switch out the contents of it, and then presumably haul ass. It would not be in his best interest, as we all know, because there's bomb. But he doesn't know that. But then, as he was about to open it, I guess it was more of a blast from Big Mom's scream, or it could have been from the candy wall that we later see, that made, it made like a, just, I don't know how to describe it, and it knocks him over, and the box goes flying off the chateau. So, how it will play a part in this story, nobody knows. But from there, Capone tries to attack Big Mom. Then that's when the candy wall I mentioned before pops up. It defends her. Perospero, who was punched in the face by Ichiji, mind you, somehow is pretty damn tough. He starts taunting Capone. So Capone tries another shot, only for his arm or the cannons to explode. And one of the fire tank pirates is like, "Father, it's like all the cannons are blocked with mochi." Obviously, we know who did that. And then Capone informs them that his limbs are all being trapped by candy. So Perospero yet again. And also that they're surrounded. This situation gets worse and worse by each passing chapter, and in by some cases each passing page. We see the Charlotte siblings. I saw Capone in my notes, and then bam, sorry. The Charlotte siblings, they're all outside talking. Burleigh's trying to plead her case, mentioned earlier. Smoothie is actually wringing out her arm of poison from Reiju's attack when she saved Nami. So that's good, and she actually says that Reiju's a bit troubling because of that poison. So, they might have something to use against at least some of the other members, I guess. But Smoothie doesn't get around to wringing them out, which then shows she can actually heal herself by wringing herself out. So, interesting use of powers. Inside Capone, he starts cursing how the plan failed, and it's his first assassination to ever fail. Luffy just gushing at how cool his castle form is. Lovely little gleam of light in this dark situation. Capone gets mad at all the chit chat going on. I mean, Brooke was even sipping tea in the background, so that I actually missed that. He explains his body, while strong, it's not going to hold up forever. And if he dies, or if it fails, he's dead. And they'll all be ejected outside, basically to what's likened to hell. So, yeah, don't want that situation to happen. And then that situation is starting to happen, because Capone falls over, he's in pain, people are wondering, what's wrong with you? And he tells them that Big Mom has regained her senses, and she's starting to attack the castle. I mean, she was ripping him apart, and she's screaming, and it's like, "Come out, you bastards!" And it's like, Capone, did you betray me? And that's how it ends. I still stand by my score of a 4. There were a few parts that, like, why? Or I don't see that, happening again or something. But it was a good chapter. If you haven't read it, read it. I mean, it was very action-packed, and I do like the homage to maybe Kamen Riders along with Power Rangers, and Sunpatch even mentioned like magical girls. So if you like those kinds of things, you'll like the Vinsmokes, because they'll be fighting more in future chapters, I'm sure. But, yeah, good chapter. I enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Keechlings, roll out.